Welcome to the Cycle of Mind podcast. I'm Alan Gordon, and I'm on a mission to wake everyone up to the awesome power of mind. You see, most people sleep their entire lives. They never give any thought to their purpose. They live their lives on autopilot with the same beliefs, acting out the same habits and the same dramas that they've lived with for decades. It's time to wake up and explore your full potential. No more settling for less. I want you to start thinking about mind in a totally different way. Mind is a force, and every moment of the day, whether you're intentionally choosing your thoughts or, like most people, you're subconsciously running on autopilot, either way, you are directing the creative power of mind. So why not choose your thoughts on purpose? Your tomorrow cannot be any different than your today until you start to take full responsibility for your beliefs, your thoughts, and your actions. So let's learn about the infinite possibilities of mind and work together to create a future we can all be proud of. A future that's based on character, values, and principles. Welcome back. I'm Alan Gordon, creator of the Cycle of Mind system. And again, I really do mean this. I thank you very much for listening and supporting this podcast. The notes from this episode are going to be published on my blog, and if you want to chat and ask any questions, just join the Cycle of Mind Facebook group. Today, I want to talk about expanding our horizons, seeing a bigger picture of who we are as people, as a society. It's all going to be about expanding our vision. So I want you to put into your mind right now, put into your mind a life that's bigger than who you are right now. Put into your mind right now a life with better circumstances than you have. I want you to start expanding your personal horizons. Start to see yourself as the person that you can be in the future. The Cycle of Mind system will actually help you map out that future in a structured way. Here's a quick story about why it's so important to expand your thinking, why you need to live bigger, right? Why do I keep saying expand your horizons? Here's why it's so important. You've heard of IKEA. Everyone's heard of IKEA. They're a giant worldwide furniture company. You've heard of them, right? They became famous in the early 80s for their IKEA catalog. And now, of course, they don't have, maybe they do have a paper catalog, but you just go on their website. It's gigantic. They sell all kinds of furniture at IKEA. Bedroom sets, dining room sets, living room furniture. They sell everything, thousands and thousands and thousands of items. But it's their lowest priced item that draws the most attention. In fact, this lowest priced item is the secret of IKEA's success. It's been their number one selling item since they launched the IKEA catalog in 1979. The sale of this one item has been the secret to IKEA's cash flow. They sell so many of this one item. I'm going to put a link to their catalog and to that actual product in my blog. This one item sells, it's the cheapest item they sell. It sells for $8.99. Now, I know a lot of my students live in the UK. That's £7.29. It's their lowest priced item. It's the cheapest item that IKEA sells. And why I'm interested in it, it's because of the name of the product. The name of the product is what catches my attention. It's called the Lack Table. I said it, Lack, L-A-C-K. It's the Lack Table. When you look at the literally tens of thousands of items in the IKEA catalog, their entire website, By far, far and away, more people buy the lack table than any other product. And that's not a business secret, right? Every ad that you see, they lead the ad with their lowest price item. And then you come into the store and the salesman tries to sell you something more expensive. Most people buy the cheapest item in the store. When you go to a restaurant, most people buy the cheapest item on the menu. And in all of our lives, at one way or another, at some point, surely we've all bought the lack table. I know, I wanted to say when I was in college, but that would be a lie. When I was working, I had 4 milk crates and a plywood board, and that was my living room table. So I know I've bought the lack table. The furniture is a metaphor for the limited quality of life that we live. Here's why it's so important that you have to start living with bigger thoughts. When we open a menu at a restaurant, our eyes naturally scan the prices. And we see the big item in the middle, the steak and the lobster and the champagne, $200. Well, we look right past that. And our mind, because our eyes follow our mind gravitates to the less expensive area of the menu. We always look for the cheaper items, right? We can have anything on the menu. The choices are infinite, but we limit ourselves to the bottom of the menu, the cheapest items. Certainly, people that shop at IKEA, that's what they end up doing. And I want to share what James Allen had to say about this subject. He just has a quote that's just perfect for this. In 1902, and I'll put a link to this book in the blog post. In 1902, James Allen published a book called As a Man Thinketh. And here's what he said about this exact thing that we're talking about. He said, "Men live in spheres, high or low, according to the nature of their thoughts. Their world is as dark and narrow as they conceive it to be, or as expansive and glorious as their imagination allows." I'm going to read that again. Men live in spheres, high or low, according to the nature of their thoughts. Their world is as dark and narrow as they conceive it to be, or as expansive and glorious as their imagination allows. You see, life gives us whatever we ask for. Life is responding to our thoughts. We don't have to believe in lack anymore. We can choose a new belief, any belief, if we can only get past our subconscious urge to limit ourselves. If we can only get past this subconscious compulsion we have to look at the bottom of the menu, to choose the lack table. If we could successfully put a new belief in our subconscious mind, and we inserted that belief and it was about abundance, well, then we would be able to have anything on the menu. All we need to do is literally retrain our eyeballs to look away from the lowest part of life and look up to the highest part of life. We have this incredible power of mind that we don't even use. Nobody's ever explained to us that all we need to do is change our thoughts and our entire reality would change. By changing our thoughts, by changing our perspective, we can have anything on the menu. And the menu options in life are infinite. Yet, subconsciously, we always choose lack. I want you to just take a minute and relax and breathe slowly. Clear your mind of all thoughts. Relax your shoulders and just breathe very nice, slow and deep. Just for a couple of minutes. I'm not talking about cheap furniture anymore. I'm talking about adding purpose and meaning to your life. I'm talking about expanding your world and living a life that's full and rich and meaningful. I'm talking about looking at the whole menu of life. I'm talking about getting rid of that useless belief in lack. You see, Abundance is not about furniture or material possessions. Abundance is a state of mind. Abundance means that you're living a life that's meaningful, that you're living a life with great purpose. I want you to think about your future in this world. So you're going to be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 25 years from now. Some of you are going to be here 60 and 70 years from now. When you think about your future, I want you to start to get in the habit to not think about your future as if you have the life you have today. Because we're dealing with mind. Your future does not depend on your present mindset. Your present mindset of lack and limitation is what created this world that you live in now. Remember we said men live in spheres, high or low, according to the nature of their thoughts. Right? So we're going to choose to live in a higher sphere. You can even repeat this after me, okay? What I have accepted so far in my life is no longer acceptable. What others have told me is impossible is now possible. What I've settled for in the past is no longer good enough. And as a broader society, what we've accepted so far is no longer acceptable. What everyone has been telling us is impossible is now possible. What we've settled for in the past, the mediocrity of the society that we've settled for until now, is no longer good enough. As a society, we need to get our act together. And I want you to ask yourself this question. When you send your children to school, are you sending them to a place of limited thinking? Or are your children being inspired to raise their sights? When you go to work every day, is your company mired in negative and limited thinking? Or is your company doing great things in the world and really exciting projects? In your own home, is your family out of balance? Or is your family happy and healthy? See, all of our limitations, all of our disappointments and our frustrations, all the stress that we experience, all of our unhappiness, all of our feelings of despair, they are all our own creation. It's what we believe about life. The quality of our lives, every single thing that we experience, it all comes from our own thoughts and our own beliefs. Everything that is negative in our lives ultimately comes from our belief in lack. And as I told you in a prior episode, those beliefs in lack and limitation come from the beliefs that we formed when we were 2 years old, just children. But now, as an adult, you can learn to change those beliefs. You can actually learn to see the world in abundant terms, in happy terms. You can see the unlimited possibilities that the world offers. At any moment, you're free. You're free to look at the whole menu of life, and you can have anything you want. And I know you can have anything you want because you have a mind, and mind will create whatever you put into it. But why is this idea of limitation so ingrained in people? Why do so many businesses, for example, so many companies just seem to choke off the energy and creativity of their employees? Why are government agencies, why are they notorious for being incredibly inefficient in how they deliver services? Why do so many people feel like it's okay to cheat, steal, and lie? Why do we always look down instead of up? What is it about human beings that causes us to look down all the time, to be so much less than we should be, to settle for so much less than what we should be? In the polarity episode, I told you that we have two poles in our nature. The negative pole is our self-interest. We have an impulse, an urge. We're literally born to take care of our own needs. We have a self-interest. That's just an instinct that we have. And on the other side, the positive pole is compassion. We have an urge, an instinct to help others, to make sure that other people are okay. And this is really important because men live in spheres high or low, according to their thoughts. So when we dwell on our negative polarity, when we dwell on the negative side of our personality, when we think about our own self-interests, that leads us to the lower spheres in life. Self-interest is the side of us that sees the world as lack and limitation. So we always feel like there just isn't enough. And so we spend all our energy and time acquiring for ourselves and protecting what we have. We have to take care of our self-interests. But it's this downward vision that actually limits our power. Compassion, which is the positive side of your nature, that's what allows you to look outside yourself and to see the broader picture of life. Compassion, when you act through that side of your nature, allows you to clearly see the abundance in your world. And the moment you choose compassion over self-interest, the moment you choose abundance over lack, the moment you choose helping others over helping yourself, as soon as you make that choice, you become 10,000 times the person you are today. You are living at only the smallest fraction of your potential. As a society, we're all huddled and packing ourselves around the bottom of the menu. We're living this idea of selfishness and greed, and we just follow the rest of society. We're not even aware that there are other choices on the menu. Nobody explained to us that all we have to do is change the thoughts in our mind, and we don't all have to fight over the same scraps. The world is infinite. Mind is infinite. Our future is whatever we design it to be. Set aside the furniture you have today. Set aside all ideas of lack and limitation, which leads to selfishness. The life you're going to build for yourself for tomorrow is going to look nothing like the life you're living today. What you've accepted in the past is no longer acceptable. What others have told you is impossible is now possible. What you've settled for in the past is no longer good enough. Set your mind to your highest purpose in life. And the moment you set your mind to a higher purpose, mind begins to respond to make it real. Why is that? Because we live in spheres high or low, according to the nature of our thoughts. That's the way it works. If you can learn the cycle of mind system and you can get good at holding your mind on these higher thoughts, your life improves almost immediately. Here are 4 things you need to make this change in your thinking. Number 1, wisdom. Have the wisdom to look up. Always rise up. Never look down toward ignorance or mediocrity. There's nothing there for you. It's not good. Number 2, courage. You have to have the courage to let go. What do I mean by that? Your future, if it's the future you're imagining, is completely different than your world today. So that means everything's going to change, and you have to know when it's time to let go and embrace the new reality. See, if you want something better, you're going to have to let go of everything you have now so that you can accept a better reality. Number 3, values. Always be guided by the highest values and principles. That's the whole point of this blog. Stand for something. Number 3, values. Always be guided by the highest character, values, and principles. That's what this whole podcast is about. Character, values, and principles. Stand for something that makes you proud of who you are. And number 4, motivation. You've got to have a life purpose. Motivation comes automatically as soon as you know what your purpose is. And once you start pursuing your purpose, motivation comes naturally. So that's it. Wisdom, courage, values, and motivation. Those are the 4 things you need to make this change in your life. So what I'm saying is stop limiting your life to what you've chosen in the past. Stop looking at the cheapest items on the menu of life. Stop. So what I'm saying is to stop limiting yourself to what you've always chosen in the past. Stop looking at the cheapest items on the menu. Raise your imagination to see much larger possibilities for yourself and look at the higher possibilities for the world. Live your life on a bigger stage. Some people tell me, well, Alan, I don't have a grand purpose. I just want to raise my children. To which I answer, honestly, there's no greater opportunity to serve the future than being a mother or a father. So teach your children about a bigger world. Run your company, run your business with a larger purpose. If you work at a company, do your job at a higher level. For all your relationships, seek deeper meaning and love in your relationships. Live your life on a bigger stage. See, the person you are today, what you are today, where you are, who you are, that's on you. If you're experiencing any limitation, any unhappiness, if you feel like you're drifting through life or all kinds of worry and stress, that's on you. In order to live on a bigger stage, you have to first change the beliefs about yourself, because this is important to understand. What you believe about yourself is 1,000 times more powerful, maybe 1,000,000 times more powerful than what other people believe about you. The most obvious example is when you see a pretty girl and you say, "You're very pretty." And she looks down when she responds. She says, "No, I'm ugly." "What? You're a beautiful girl." "No, I'm ugly." See, because what you believe about yourself is 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times more powerful than what anyone else can say about you. So believe in your greatness. Believe in your uniqueness. Believe in your beauty. Believe in your health. Believe that you were born a prince or princess and you were destined to be a king or a queen. Do not ever again, ever allow your past beliefs to define your future. You live your life on a bigger stage. Marianne Williamson, a great quote I'm going to share with you. Here's what she said. "You are a child of God. Playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking yourself so that others won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine, as all children shine. And as you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give others permission to do the same." As I say in the course on happiness, shine your light as bright as you possibly can. You are a light to the world. You're either a bright light or you draw yourself in and you're just a very dim light. Shine your light as bright as you possibly can. Don't look down, look up. Don't be afraid or overwhelmed by life. Have the courage and the determination to succeed. And don't drift through life for one more day. Find your purpose and bring out all the good that you can and give that to the world. And don't settle for what everyone else thinks and says and does. You be guided by your own highest values and principles. Don't hide yourself. Live your life with happiness and enthusiasm on the biggest stage you can imagine for yourself. Step out of your comfort zone and never look back. Don't go backwards. Mind has no limit. So open your imagination and choose whatever you want from the menu of life. And one thing I can tell you is I'm going to be right there with you, cheering you on. If you agree with what I'm saying, right, and you can actually see yourself living a bigger life, I'm here to tell you it's yours if you learn to organize and control your thoughts. And if you really want to be part of this journey, then let's do it together. If the Cycle of Mind sounds like it could be right for you, join the Cycle of Mind Facebook group. Eventually, you'll need to become a student of the Cycle of Mind, but the only way to do that is to start at the beginning. And the beginning is the course on happiness. And then when you're finished with that course, then you'll join at the applicant level and you'll take the course on self-awareness. I promise you, once you go down this path, you'll never turn back. It really is. Getting control of your thoughts and watching as mind creates a better and better future for you, it's really an amazing journey. If you enjoy the topic of mind, go ahead and subscribe to this podcast so I can get you notifications when new episodes become available. We're only just scratching the surface here. We have so much more ground to cover on the topic of mind. If you want to support this podcast, the best thing you could do today is go to the Apple Podcast app and give the Cycle of Mind podcast a 5-star rating and a 5-star review. I would be very grateful if you did that. Also, feel free to jump onto my Facebook group where we're always talking about mind. And I'm going to be having some live Q&A sessions on Facebook very soon. For those of you who want to dig deeper into the Cycle of Mind system and begin taking control of your own thoughts, your first step would be to register for a course in self-awareness. That will get you plugged into the system and on the right path. Thank you very much to all those who are actively supporting this podcast. Have a great day today. How can you make it a great day? Well, here's how. Keep your mind focused on compassion.